Sometimes we see the same product offering two features that seem very similar, and we're not sure why they're both there and which one we should use. Often the case is that they built something, some capability, and then they started rebuilding it again in a different way. Let's look at a really interesting example from ChatGPT around projects and custom GPTs, and then we'll draw the parallels in Microsoft Copilot. Let's jump in. We'll start with ChatGPT and jump into Copilot in a moment. So ChatGPT introduced custom GPTs back in the end of 2023 and then launched a GPT store in the beginning of 24. My custom GPTs live here. They know how to do a certain task. So if I go and create a new one, we'll see that basically what it is a name, a prompt, and knowledge. So I can say, you are my helper for organizing this kind of report. I'll give you reports. You organize them like this and like that. If it has this, you'll separate to that. And I explain exactly how I want it. And from that point on, I can go and have a chat with my Solar data formatter here and upload a report, and it already knows what to do because it has this instruction built in. They created a GPT store where people could launch their GPTs, their instruction. We don't see the instruction, it's inside each one of those, and knowledge. And anyone can then use those GPTs, and we thought that was going to be monetized at some point. What happened with time is that people created them for public and created them internally for their team to use. But with time, there was a sense that GPTs are not amazing, these custom GPTs. They seem to not remember their instruction very well and sometimes get a bit silly, and they don't seem to learn from everything that's happening in our ChatGPT account like the rest of our chats. So then projects came along. So about a year later, they released projects. And initially, project looked very similar to custom GPTs, and we weren't sure why we have the two options and when we should use which. Basically, a project has an instruction. You are my AI policy checker for an accounting firm. Your objectives, your method, your output format, everything I needed to know. They have files, knowledge, so templates, policies, checklists, whatever it is that we need. And then I can have chats with them. And when I start a chat here, it knows the instruction and the files. So I don't need to explain everything from the beginning. So that's very much like a custom GPT. But what we noticed very quickly was that project seems to remember their instruction a bit better than custom GPTs. And then we noticed that they're getting more love from OpenAI and getting more capabilities developed. For example, when I have a chat with a project, I can include all the normal capabilities like deep research, getting documents of knowledge from my connectors, agent mode, web search, all the different canvas, all the different options. Whereas where I have a chat with a custom GPT, I have fewer options. I don't have here deep research. I don't have here many of the options that I have with the project. In a project, we basically have all the options that we have with a normal chat. Recently, we also became able to share our projects with our teammates in a more granular way than what we can do with custom GPTs. Custom GPTs we can share with the world, only with our team or only with ourselves, and that's it. Projects I can now share with individual team members or with anyone in my team, but not yet globally, publicly, right now. That means that here in this project, I have a teammate called Tom, and we can see a chat here that I started and another chat that Tom started, and I can continue Tom's chat and Tom can continue my chat. And very powerful, the most powerful thing is that when we look at projects, they have memory. We can allow a project to use default memory, which means it can access memories from outside this project and vice versa. So it enriches our general ChatGPT and it learns from the rest of our ChatGPT, not globally with other users, but in our ChatGPT, in my ChatGPT. Or I can make it a project only. So this project only learns from the chats internal to it, but not from other chats. So if I'm creating here a project to work on a particular client project or a particular strategy, and I don't want that impacted by any other work that I'm doing, I'll do it with a project only memory. The option to have the default memory from all my chats enriches the work with ChatGPT amazingly. It really knows a lot about us, and it really and that information really enriches the conversations we have with it. And so it seems right now that other than publishing prompts to the world, for the world to use, anything we're doing for our internal workflow, projects are a much better option. And I'm assuming that very soon projects will start having tools and capabilities and become agentic. So I'll be able to connect this project with my email program and say, right, so now send the email, or monitor the email and react to things that are happening there. So in conclusion, right now, for anything other than publishing AI to the world, any internal work with myself or with my team, I'm seeing a lot more love for projects than for custom GPTs. And I am using a lot more projects than custom GPTs. Let's jump across and see what happens in the world of Microsoft Copilot. So in the world of Copilot, assuming that I'm on the paid Copilot for Microsoft 365, I also have two options. How interesting. One is notebooks and one is agents, Agent Lite. So notebooks are very similar to projects. When I create a new notebook, I can give it an instruction. You are my entity establishment assistant. You help accountants set up new companies and trusts. This is your job. These are your steps. This is what you will do. And I can attach references, documents, just like I could with projects. And then I can start having chats with it. The limitation of notebooks in Microsoft Copilot right now is that I cannot right now share them with my team. There's no sharing option here. There's no way for me to share it with other team members. Right now, if I want to do something shareable, I have to create an agent. And creating an agent sounds very fancy, but really it's exactly the same. I can give it a name. I can give it instructions. You are my assistant for something. I can attach files, documents, and that's it. This I can create and publish to my team. So there's one that I've already published, and when it's published, I can share it with my team members, with certain people, with anyone in my organization, etc. And then they all will have it here. We can even publish them into our team's environment so we can chat with them like team members and have them in our group chats and then go, hey agent, do your thing. There's another area called Copilot Studio where I can create agents like this that are a bit more sophisticated and can have access to tools like sending emails, receiving emails, sending messages, creating files. But here in this interface, in the Copilot chat interface, I create what's called Agent Lite. They are very similar to notebooks. And right now in the world of Microsoft Copilot, we ask, when should I use a notebook and when should I use an agent? And we say, well, if you want to share it with your team, create an agent because notebooks are not shareable. And so why would you create a notebook? The jury is out still on which one of these features is going to become the one. I would place my bets on the agent, but we'll see. Another difference with Copilot is that in Copilot, administrators can disable the create agent capability. There's a lot more granularity in Copilot permissions. Administrators can disable the agent functionality, and so then we're only left with notebooks. So maybe that's another way of looking at it in the Copilot world. Notebooks are personal and anyone can create them, and agents are growing to become the shareable option internally. So what does all that mean for us? Well, if you're on ChatGPT, if you're a ChatGPT business, I think there's a transition here from custom GPTs to projects that I feel it's about time to do. If you're on Copilot, we're still a bit on the fence. You can use this, you can use that, and you can get a sense of which one works better. Right now, I'm sensing that the ability of notebooks and agents to remember their instruction is pretty similar. And what we learn from that more generally is that we're all using technology here that's quite early stage, which means that things are still changing. People who invested a lot in creating custom GPTs now have to redo some of their work. People who created a lot of automation in order to be able to share prompts now go, oh, we can just use projects or notebooks or agents. So whenever we find ourselves thinking of building a lot of automation and building a lot of custom things in a way that the app doesn't seem to be able to do just yet, maybe we're behaving a bit like innovators or early adopters, which is great. But maybe we can just wait a bit, and in a few weeks or a few months, the capability will get built in, which is often the right thing to do.